All right. We are officially recording. Hi, everyone. Thank you. And welcome to our new program, our new series, our health and wellness series, Living Intentionally. This is our little connection corner every Sunday evening. I am Tina Fetten. I am an independent consultant with Arbonne. I am a foundational yoga therapist, and I am a health and wellness instructor at Binghamton University. Marion, do you want to go ahead?
Okay. Hi, my name is Marion Horan. I am also an independent consultant with Arbonne International, but before I was a nutritionist, and I am now turned health and wellness expert. And I have all of the biology understanding to really harness this power that we have to create a more intentional life. So what we're going to be doing today is talking about diet culture. Like, I hear that word diet culture and instantly I'm like, ugh. So Tina, what does diet culture mean to you?
I cringe, and I'm going to talk a little later what it does to some people when they hear it, because I've been stuck in the hamster wheel of diet culture for over 35 years. I started as a young child with my mom putting me on diet. So it is a long, drawn out, traumatic experience for me. So we could have a whole session just on that.
You know, I can relate because as I was growing up in high school, like I was fed this idea that I need to restrict my calories. I need to exercise a lot if I want to maintain a healthy weight. And that's really like, even as I progressed into my nutrition education, that's what's really stressed. Calories in have to be less than calories out if you want to maintain a healthy weight or lose weight. So what this does is it really creates a false perception of what it really does take to maintain a healthy weight, but it also creates a really sticky relationship with not only the foods that we're consuming, but it also creates a bad relationship with exercise because, like, I don't know about you, but my my calorie expenditure of choice was weekends at the gym. You know, I would go to a party and I would indulge and I would have a piece of cake and I would enjoy myself. And then the next day feel so much guilt over what that piece of cake meant to me and what it's going to do to me. Like, I've got hips. So I knew they were going right to my hips. So I was right on the treadmill. I was like, you know, I had to get at least 400 calories on that Procore, you know, and that created like this really bad relationship with exercise for me. And what it has, learning more about it, it's really blossomed into a wonderful, I mean, Tina, you're going to talk about this a little later, how exercise is really a wonderful expression. I don't want to go into that, but so we're fed this idea that calories in needs to be less than calories out. But the problem is calories are not equal. You know, we're also like, when we're fed this idea, this, you know, you need to have less calories in, less calories out, it's really putting us in a blame state. You know, it puts the mentality on us like, oh, it's my fault. If only I could exercise more. If only I could restrict my calories more. If only I could lose weight. If only. So we're constantly in a victim mode. We're constantly to blame for this situation that, not for nothing, like our food industry perpetuates, this diet culture perpetuates. So what we've been doing is really claiming ownership of our diets with lifestyle. I want to go a little bit deeper into this calories in, calories out thing, because just saying that all calories are not equal, I mean, like, I can say it, but that's what I've been fed for all of my nutrition education. So it's based on this idea. So calories started, it's a completely new idea. Like, calories only started in 1918. So there was this guy, Wilbur Atwater, who was an American chemist that really like coined what calories are. And he was actually doing experiments on physics.
No.
Yeah, and it was like a byproduct of this physics experiment that he learned, oh, when you heat certain foods, it results in like there's a calorie there. But it really, really didn't make a big splash until 1918, when Dr. Lulu Hunt Peters published a book on nutrition called Diet and Health with the Key of Calories. So she actually is the one that this whole thing
it's all her fault.
It is. It's all her fault. So she said that she's the one that coined the phrase, you're going to eat your calories. Instead of eating a piece of bread, you're eating 100 calories. It really caused all of America to shift to this numbers game. She also indoctrinated the association of mortality with food. So she was a very devout Christian, and she believed that if you were able to restrict yourself, like you were doing a good thing.
You were saving children and other, like if you only ate 500 or 800, I'm throwing a really poor number out, but like 1,000 calories or 1,200 a day, those other calories you didn't eat just fed a starving child somewhere.
Because it was in World War I.
Yeah. So that people would restrict their diets and stay skinny.
That's horrible.
It is.
Yeah, she had a phrase, for every pang of hunger you feel, know that you're losing a pound of weight. Like, so it like fueled this whole belief system in America. And, you know, like the food industry, like the medical industry, they like jumped right on it. You know, everyone really embraced this. And, you know, so modern diets, they're just continuing to perpetuate this thought process, right? I mean,
100 years later, it's still here that we worry about restricting our calorie intake.
Yeah. And so the calories really aren't equal. And we're doing so much more research now to kind of figure out that they're not equal. So there was a study done in food nutrition from Food and Nutrition Research. So they wanted to figure out, like, if you ate 2 meals, one of a whole foods meal and one of a processed meal, would you have the same energy expenditure at the end? Okay. So they took a multigrain bread and cheddar cheese. That was the whole foods meal. And they took a processed meal, which was like Wonder white bread and cheese product. Do you guys all know what
slices?
Cheese product.
Fake cheese. So when you see cheese slices on a package, it's fake. It's not real cheese.
49%.
You mean Velveeta's not real?
No, Velveeta's not real.
I'm just kidding.
49% real.
Squeezed cheese in the can.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah. So they took these 2 meals. They were completely identical in caloric content, you know, fat and protein and everything. And what they found was the people that ate the processed food had a 50% reduction in calorie burn. 50%. I mean, so if you're eating 350 calories or 300 calories, you're only actually burning 150 of that. So how is there ever going to be a calorie deficit? So not to continue on this one path, I'm going to say one more thing about these calories is that, you know, it's kind of 100 calories of broccoli is not going to do the same thing to your body as 100 calories of Cheetos. We are a result of the foods that we eat. And I think we're going to talk about this in another info session later on.
Stay tuned.
But like broccoli is so much more nourishing and supportive to your brain cells, to your body cells, to your metabolism. It has fiber. Like it has, like we are a result of the foods that we eat. I know I would rather be made out of broccoli than be made out of Cheetos. So there are lots of other factors that go into how we burn calories and why calories are not equal. I mean, if you want me to list off a couple really quickly, it's inflammation, you know, whether there's messages that are being crossed in our body of how to use them. It's neuroinflammation. So our brain, like our gut telling our brain how to use the food that we're eating, there's problems there. It's the type of food, like I was mentioning before. It's also how it's prepared. Like if you eat something raw and then you deep fry it, like those are not equal calorie measures either. It's our microbiome makeup. Oh, so many things. So to wrap it up and switch it off to Tina, like this idea that that we're creating this problem for ourselves, like that blame, we really have the ability to take ownership when we become more aware of not the calories, it's the composition. And so that's what I really like to focus on with my practice. It's the composition. What's nourishing your body, what's fueling your microbiome. Okay, Tina, take it away.
Mary, you did that in 10 minutes. Woohoo!
Oh my God, it was too long.
That was the goal. 10 and 10. We're good.
Okay.
So to keep going with the actual what diet culture does, a lot of us, I know me personally, got stuck on numbers, amount of calories, amount of quantity, and what my scale said. And that was something that I had to deprogram from my brain, which I've been working on the last 2 years since I have been with the Healthy Living Program in Arbonne. Diet culture is toxic. It triggers our sympathetic system for a lot of us, especially women, because we've been through the diets, and the main word that always comes up in the end is failure. We feel like we've become a failure because we have not reached the results we wanted to, or we did, and then we went back to square one. And it's not us. It's because diets don't work. Caloric restriction does not work because it's not flipping the switch in the mind. We're just being told, do this to get that, but we're depriving ourselves. So really, we're actually triggering our sympathetic system with our diet, our toxic diet mindset. So it puts us into fight and flight, which is stress. So if you're ever afraid or angry or frustrated, that's your fight and flight. Well, we're all in it all the time lately with everything. But for many of us, diet will trigger that, and failure of our diets will trigger that. Judgment, being very judgmental of ourselves and comparing ourselves to others. Social media is toxic. The diet culture on social media is horrible. If you want a good laugh, go to Celeste Barber on Instagram. She is the bomb because she makes fun of all of like diet model culture. It's great. I laugh all the time from her when I need a good laugh. So we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Of those 60 to 80,000 thoughts, 50% of them are negative. Of those 50% that are negative, more than half of those are about ourselves, and subconsciously we may not even know that we are thinking so negatively about ourselves. And for women, many of those are triggered by diet culture, expectations, judgment, and comparison. So we are beating ourselves up regularly, and we're actually doing more damage to our body than actually just eating the damn piece of cake. Because between how we beat ourselves up, between having the piece of cake and the guilt around the piece of cake while we ate it, we never enjoyed it because we were guilty. And then for 3 days, we're either working it off or beating ourselves up and starving ourselves. So we're actually doing more damage to the body than actually cutting a smaller piece of cake and enjoying every bite of it, being fully present.
Celebrating your life.
Well, you know, they even prove if you become more mindful of what you're eating, you actually don't need a whole piece of cake, because we get satisfied in the first few bites of the craving from whatever that was, that dessert, or maybe the chips or the Cheetos. Not for nothing, a Cheeto every once in a while is pretty good. Sorry, Marion.
Oh yeah, no, like
when you were saying Cheetos, yuck, I'm like, well, but so what else does it do besides it shuts our metabolism down? It affects our adrenals, our thyroid, our cardiovascular system, our gut health, and our mental health. All from diet culture, the toxic culture, and all from beating ourselves up with the foods that we feel we should not be eating. So I want to talk a lot, like Marion's a science. I'm always picking her brain. I'm going to bring in more of that living intentionally, that mindfulness, to go back then and start to see what am I eating and making choices. Let go of calories and start looking at the compositions of food, becoming more mindful of why we want to eat what we want to eat. So I want to start with this, which I found mind-blowing when I listened to this the other day. The simple act of eating as a family 4 times a week benefits everyone. So they've proven that families will consume more fruits and vegetables if they're having dinners or breakfasts or lunches together. There'll be lower consumption of soda and chips and like fast foods. They become more mindful about preparing together, cooking together. Kids benefit, and these are all from studies. I don't do all the little logistics of what study was from, but I can give you the podcast. Less eating disorders in children, less obesity, less violence, better school performance, and less drug use.
Together as a family?
4 times a week. That's it. And the reason for that, here's my yoga connection part, is we are humans and humans crave connection. That's why those of us in Arbonne that love Arbonne, we crave that connection of the community, because we are humans that crave connection. That's why everybody's struggling in COVID right now, because the connection is anyone that's in our 4 walls, and that's it. So the fact of eating together would benefit everyone in your life. And even if you don't have children, eating with other people in the house, not in front of the TV, not with a snack table, not over the kitchen sink. I'm a kitchen sink eater. So I'll prepare a meal and eat it all before, like eat a meal before I sit down. Then I don't.
I do it at my desk at work. I'll like eat it at my desk a lot.
So another thing to be mindful about is your preparation of food, preparing it, cooking it, and the actual act of eating it. Because when we become more mindful, we have more appreciation for it, and we're actually celebrating ourselves for taking the time to do something good for us. Like, so we are all caregivers, and we give everything to everyone else, and then it's like, what's left for me? Not much. So when we put ourselves first, even with a simple meal, it is shifting from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic of the system in the body. So we're going from fight and flight into that grounding presence of the body, and it actually starts to nourish the metabolism, the adrenals, the thyroid, the cardiovascular system, and helps to balance your gut. So some things I want to talk about quickly before we end tonight is I asked you to start, I'm going to throw this word out there. Stay tuned. We're going to have a whole session on this down the line, embodiment. And embodiment is when we start to check in with the physical body. Most of our actions around food are in the mind. Most of them are around cravings of what we think something's going to taste like. And I mean, perfect example, we see that piece of cake on the counter. In our mind, it's like the best chocolate cake in the world. And we'll go take a bite or two, and then sometimes it's not even good, but we'll keep eating it because we had our eyes on that piece of cake on the counter.
Well, also when sugar is super addictive.
Right.
I mean,
that's another whole session right there. Sugar's super addictive, but we also make this image in our mind of what it's supposed to taste like. And even if it tastes like crap, we still eat it. So if we start to come into the present body, this is my little yogic stuff coming in here, and start to notice the sensations, the physical sensations in the body, we start to recognize the difference between hunger, cravings, sadness, anxiety, anger, because a lot of us emotionally eat as well. So when we start to come into the physical body, we can maybe separate and go, oh, you know what? I'm just really bored right now. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes. And then if I still want that piece of cake, then I'm going to have that piece of cake. Hunger is the body communicating that something is wrong. So what do I mean? Something is off balance. We're either nutrient deficient, or we have not eaten in a long, we need food in the belly, or we may have addictions of like sugar or salt or dairy or whatever. So starting to really tap into the physical body allows us to see what's going on. It's, you're starting to listen to the body communicating with you, because the body communicates through physical discomfort, pain, hunger. Really, you could feel sensations of happiness and stress-free, and that's when we're in the parasympathetic system. So that's being embodied. I want to just for 1 minute, I'm going to make you all get embodied. 1 minute, and then I'm going to let you go. So you're sitting, and if your feet can touch the floor, then do so. If not, that's okay. You can take your hands and you can place them on your legs, palms down. Or if you want to go a little deeper, you can place one on your chest and one on your belly, whatever you're comfortable with. You can either close your eyes or you can look towards the floor. I don't want you to look at things that are moving around if you're in a room with people and stuff going on. And I want you to feel, if your feet are on the floor, feel your feet touching the floor. And just notice your breath in and out. And notice where your hands are resting. If it's the tops of your if your hands are resting on your legs, what is that sensation? If it's on your belly and chest, what sensation do you notice? Is your belly rising and falling? Is your chest rising and falling? And then notice your glutes on your chair. Notice your back body, your spine resting. Is it supported? And then come back to your breath. In and out. And the mind is maybe racing. If this is all new to you, that's okay. Just noticing those thoughts, but then come back to a physical part of the body, whether it's the feet, your hands, your spine, your glutes on the chair, or maybe even just your breath. I always tell my students, our breath is our anchor. No one can take that from us. Can ground you into your physical body at any time. And this may be too quick of an exercise. You can do this longer on your own. I can give you apps or videos too. But I want you to begin to notice, is there any sensation standing out somewhere in your body? It could be a discomfort. It could be pleasant. You could even think about it. Is it warmth? Is it really strong, or is it just kind of dull in the background? Maybe you are hungry. Maybe you feel your belly rumbling. And come back to your breath in and out. So this can be, you can keep your eyes closed if you like, or open. This is a simple way to connect with your body before you eat, at night before bed. And this helps us at any time come out of that sympathetic system, the fight and flight, into the parasympathetic. Another thing we do is we're in the sympathetic and something happens, we become reactive. We grab whatever, we drink whatever.
Yell.
Huh? What?
Yell.
Yeah. If we ground in our body for a minute or two, we actually may become proactive in our choices and in our thoughts in our body. So that is just a little snippet of
intentional. We get intentional with our choices, Tina.
Yes, thank you. Buzzword, intentional. We're living intentionally in 2021. So, I mean, that's really it in a nutshell. We've given you a snapshot of how toxic diet culture can be. So when it comes across your news feed or the 50,000 commercials on TV right now, I want you to take them with a grain of salt, because they really are not a true snapshot. They don't tell you, and this was one more thing I heard in the podcast, they don't tell you how many people go from these miraculous results, and 5 years they're back where they started, or if not, worse off with their health journey.
Can I say that in another study, like they said, the biggest indicator of weight gain later on is if you've ever been on a diet.
Yes.
People that have been on diets, they have dramatic weight gain afterwards because they haven't adopted this lifestyle. Like they anyway, sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. It wreaks such havoc on the body. Diets don't help us balance our gut health. So I'm going to just bring this into how Arbonne supported me with my diet, my toxic diet mind for 35 years. I decided to become a preferred client and do the healthy living program to help balance my gut. And I was like, I'm going to commit to 30 days. I mean, I was sick with the Lyme. They did not know what was wrong with me, but I was a mess inside and I knew it. And so I did the 30 days, and within a week and a half, I couldn't believe the difference in my body. I started more energy, and I didn't lose weight in the first month. And I was okay with that because I felt so much better. I had so much more energy. I had more clarity in my mind, and I felt empowered. I wasn't in that fight and flight anymore. I was empowered because I knew I was making the right choices. I was learning through the program to make the right choices and start to listen to my body. So I have been on the Healthy Living program for 2 years, not at full on. I've done 80-20, but I did go full on 3 weeks ago again because I was in lots of meds for 2 years with Lyme, and I know I have leaky gut from it. I think it's torn my gut apart. And for 3 weeks now, I've been full on 100%. And again, I'm empowered. I have energy, and I am seeing results quicker. My body is snapping back quicker, and I'm releasing weight, and I'm building strength. So that was, as a preferred client, I made the best choice. And then I decided to become a consultant to urbanize my home and afford the program to continue on that path, thinking that's all I was going to do. And then I met all these wonderful women in Arbonne, and I was like, I want to do what they're doing, and started working to build my business from there. So that's kind of a quick snapshot of my Arbonne journey and how it started for me. And Healthy Living is like the program that I just share all day long with everybody and anyone that wants to listen. So I thank you all for listening to me tonight. Mary, do you have anything last you want to share?
Not too much. I mean, like, similar, I got into Arbonne through the Healthy Living program as well. Like, when I got my master's in nutrition, I was taught the wrong things. And I think the best thing that I learned was how to create ownership of my own eating. Like, having that freedom of choice, like knowing what the choices are that are really going to nourish my body versus harm my body. Like, knowing the difference there was everything to me. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this program with other people. You know, people like to get the discount. So, you know, it's great to become a preferred client, but, you know, joining this community is like the best thing in the world.
I agree. So we're going to continue to do these every week. We have topics, everything from nutrition, behavioral changes. We decided we're going to do one on behavioral changes, going deeper. What?
So fascinating.
Yes, going deeper into embodiment. We have a lot of good stuff. There'll be Sunday nights, same meeting ID with community with a capital C as the password. And if you have any questions, reach out to Marion or me. Marion, pick her brain and she's a wealth of walking knowledge on nutrition. I'm constantly messaging her. So I'm so grateful she decided to do this with me, because I have the embodiment end, the intentional end when it comes to spiritual and grounding in the body. And she's got the science down. So
the match made in heaven.
Yes. So we thank you for our first Sunday launch, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Stay grounded and present in your body, and don't forget to breathe. It's important.